Liam Duncan, also known as Boy Golden. How you doing today?
Doing fairly well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm in Las Vegas, which is kind of warmer than where you are. I think you're actually in Winnipeg, right?
Yeah, it's cold.
It's a little chilly.
I like
But
it though. I
yeah,
like
it's
it.
it's beautiful up there, and we love Canada. I used to be with Cirque du Soleil way back when, so I used to go
Oh
to
yeah.
Montreal. Yeah, I go to Montreal quite a bit. So you have a new album coming out, Best of Our Possible Lives, February 13th. You already have a single out with a really cool video, which is called Like a Child. So tell me about your career because you actually have been very successful, especially in Canada. You do a lot of touring, and you have a huge summer tour coming up. This album that's coming out is your fourth. So you've been a busy artist. Tell me about working in Canada and that whole adventure.
Sure. I mean, I started. How far back do you want to go? Like I've
Well,
been.
yeah, we can talk about like how you originally got into songwriting
Yeah.
and
I
all
mean,
that.
I think one thing that has informed my career, but also just is in my DNA as a person, is that I played around 600 shows with my high school band. So we
Wow.
just toured DIY all over Canada. We did start touring in the States and we did a tour in Japan as well. This was all like DIY kind of thing. So we just like we worked really hard. We probably could have worked a little harder on the music. I mean, we worked really hard at being good musicians, but I feel like we could have maybe spent more time writing songs instead of like trying to work. But we just wanted to work, so we just got out and played so many shows. And I feel like those experiences on the road are just they're in my DNA. And I was thinking about this last night for some reason, because this new album is different from all the other records in the sense that also always had a DIY sort of recording aesthetic. I've recorded and produced all my own records. Sometimes mixed them all as well. Sometimes played all the instruments.
No,
So I,
a true indie artist.
yeah, exactly. Like that's really who I am. And I've had some like in Canada, I've had a couple like unexpected successes at radio. I had
Right.
a number one song off my first record, which I made in my bedroom in Toronto. And so that was all like really unexpected, and I guess I didn't really let it change the way I was making music for a while because I kind of had this vision that I would make that first record, and then I wanted to make another record on this 8-track tape machine that I have sitting beside me, and then I wanted to make another record just on a cassette machine, and I just sort of did all those things without really paying much attention to maybe um, I mean, I think they were good things to do. I think they helped me grow as a musician and an artist. But I feel like this new record is the next step that I really needed, which was to really push myself out of my comfort zone, which my comfort zone is doing everything by myself. And so I think working with like a producer, working with a bunch of really great musicians in a nice studio in LA actually pushed me harder than doing everything by myself.
Yeah, and I mean, but the thing is, obviously, you have great success with your formula, and doing all that road work, and that's basically like going to college, right? It's going to university, learning what to do, what not to do, how to keep your voice from not going out, seeing that many shows and traveling. Tell me about the experience recording in LA because you have some great musicians and a great producer on this album. Bobby Lackritz is the producer. But tell me about that adventure out in LA.
Yeah, so Robbie put together a great band. I brought my friend and frequent collaborator Austin Parahoniak with me, and he's one of my best friends and an extremely talented musician. But then the rhythm section that they hired was Pino Palladino, who's obviously a legend,
Yeah,
and
I'm a bass player. I'm a bass player, so that name instantly popped out at me.
yeah, I mean, if you're gonna know one bass player, that's probably the bass player.
That's
But
exactly right. Yeah.
um, and then uh, I also hired this kind of young legend, Abe Rounds, who is a phenomenal drummer. And Abe and Pino play together all the time. They're on a lot of gigs together, and they're really good friends as well. And so I was definitely intimidated and nervous to the point where it was kind of like I was making my first record ever.
Yeah. Well,
And
in a way, you were making your first record in that environment,
I
so
know. Well,
that's a big deal.
exactly. That's
Yeah,
right. It was the first time I've made, and I produced for other artists, so I've made other people's records
right.
in studios, and that's kind of what was leading me down this path. I was starting to make like really good sounding music for other artists, like great sonically, like really nice, and I was like, I think it's time
Let's
that
step
I
it up,
made a
and yeah,
Boy Golden record like this. So that's what we did. And I spent 2 months by myself in Nashville, living in a converted garage sort of situation. And I was just shedding. I just practiced. I practiced every day, and I would play each song that I was going to record into all the way through to kind of like a backing track I'd made
right. Just to
until,
kind of get him comfortable, get him
yeah,
organic. Yeah.
I would do it until I could listen back to it and be like, yeah, I would keep that take.
Yeah,
And so,
that's a very smart way to do it. And that's actually, way back when with Shania Twain, that's what Mutt Lange did. He actually had that band rehearse before they ever recorded the album,
really,
which was pretty much unheard of in Nashville. You
yeah,
could just go in and cut it. But for that exact reason, because he wanted to work on arrangements, he wanted to get her completely comfortable and seated in the songs. So it
yeah.
didn't sound like they're just reading lyrics and, was that a nice change of pace for you to do it that way and really just like get settled on the tunes?
Hell yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, first off, I think I just got better at singing. I think my time got better. Like anytime you're just practicing like that,
Right. Yeah.
you're just gonna get better, which was great. And but it was also really challenging. Like I called one of my closest friends, Roman, who's an incredible musician and an avid practicer, and I was like, man, I've hit a wall where like it takes me like 2 or 3 hours just to get a decent take of one of these songs. And I'm just like feeling like, I mean, it kind of made me feel like, how am I going to make this record? Like, I'm going to go in there and these like people that I admire are going to think that I
They're gonna
suck.
be staring at you at the studio.
Yeah, exactly. And he
Yeah.
was like, you just literally have to keep doing it. And so I just kept banging my head against the wall. And then I think it was about 7 days after I called him that I just whipped through the entire album in like 1 or 2 takes per song, just getting great takes like right away.
Awesome. Yeah.
And and then I just kept doing that. And once I had it, then it was just fun. Then I was like, cool, I'll sit here and play my songs all day. Like, what a beautiful gift. And I
Yeah, and
usually,
you can hear that too in an artist's voice, right? Like I said, somebody sitting there reading lyrics versus somebody who's really they're in the song and they're comfortable doing it. Do you find like that's super important to get to that place to be able to put out a good take?
oh man, yeah, it is. It's not always how I do it, but after doing this, like, yes. And then honestly, after making this record, which I think is my best work, now I've been singing the songs live. I've made other versions. I've made alternate versions. I've like just re-recorded demos of them for fun. And I'm like, oh, I got even better at doing this because I spent even more time with it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so
Getting comfortable in your own shoes and
you just get better
finding
and
your
better at
voice.
doing it. It's frustrating because now I listen to the vocal takes on the record and I go, well, I could have done that it's margins. It's probably like
Yeah. I
marginally
think
better.
I think
But
every artist goes through that. And
yeah,
imagine having a hit, 40 years ago and that's still going through your brain. It's like, you know, but
I
then
mean,
again, it's a good problem to have.
totally. It's definitely the case on my first album, which I didn't like. I honestly had a ton of fun making it, and I wasn't really thinking about anyone hearing it. You
Right.
know what I
Yeah, because
mean?
you're just doing your thing and you're hoping it's going to get out there and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just doing that, and then a lot of people still listen to that record, and sometimes that causes me mortal embarrassment.
Well,
But then other times I listen to it and I go, "Hey, that's pretty good."
yeah,
So
it's the artist thing. It's just
yeah.
it's universal. Who were some of the early influences? Because for you, like my impression of your music, it's sort of roots Americana, or I guess Canadian kind of. um, and country music for people that don't know, I mean, they know like obviously they know Shania is from Canada, but the country music scene and the roots music scene in Canada is very strong. There's a lot of great artists. But who are you listening to when you're growing up and like thinking like, oh, I want to write songs too? Who are some of your influences?
Probably my biggest influence is J.J. Cale.
Oh, okay, yeah,
That's always been the case. Just love his records, and he's got that homemade sound that sonically that's what I was always chasing. And
Yeah.
then my other influences are largely like folk and bluegrass. I We have a great folk music festival here in Winnipeg, Winnipeg Folk Fest.
Mhm.
And so like growing up, like I loved Todd Snyder. You know, he was a huge influence on me.
Right.
I love Lucinda Williams and Gillian Welch. And then as I got older, like also just some of the great like American pop and rock writers, Tom Petty, Springsteen, Carole King. Like
Yeah.
I kind of just like I love the classics, and I'm always trying to write like in kind of a classic way, I guess. Maybe I'm not necessarily trying to do that. That's kind of my sensibility. I love like beautiful melodies and nice harmony and
And I think one of the things that all of those artists have in common is they're storytellers. That's something
yeah.
I hear in your music. Is that something that's important for you when you're writing lyrics, like you're trying to tell a story and get a story across, or how do you approach that?
I don't really think about it, but yes, I'm definitely super influenced by the storytellers, and there's some local storytelling songwriters that are like extremely influential on me. One of them is Ridley Bent.
Mm.
Probably don't know them down in America, but he's so good. And yeah, I'm also like a big novel reader. I
Oh,
read
okay.
a lot, and so I don't I'm not always intentionally being like, this is the story I have to tell, but
Right.
you know, I do have a maybe a natural sense of like narrative.
Yeah. And I like your production style because I was checking out your other albums, and it's a very organic sound, and probably because you did a lot of that yourself, you did it at home.
Hmm.
When working with so you're so used to working by yourself, working with the team and collaborating, is that a comfortable thing for you? Is it kind of a newer thing for you? How did you approach that?
It was only really new in the context of my own music, but I've even on my own music, I've always collaborated. Like my second record, which was first an EP, and then I released the rest of the songs, was just my live band recording live in my friend's, home studio to
Mhm.
tape. So I've always been like, I love collaborating because people bring things to the table that I'm not able to. But I guess like just letting go of a bunch of the technical work, which is also creative work, but letting go of a lot of that and just being kind of rooted in my sense of taste the whole time, and also just trying to perform well as an artist, I think was the biggest difference. And I mean, everyone on this record was so talented, and they were so present, and they were just so invested feeling. I never had a doubt about it, ever.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really cool list of musicians, and it's you know the interest it's interesting too because um your music is again like it has such an organic feel, organic vibe. What's the importance for you in terms of finding your voice? And is that something you always felt like you were there, or is it something you were, oh, it's always evolving your voice as an artist?
Yeah, I had to write dozens and dozens and dozens of songs before I arrived at the Boy Golden project, actually. I
Mhm.
released an album under my own name that you hopefully can't find anywhere anymore.
So of course,
And
everybody's gonna look it up and find
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, go ahead. I mean, I think it's you can find some of it on YouTube, but they're
right,
not bad, but it's not my voice. Like
right.
they're some of them are good songs. Like I figured out how to write a good song, but it's just not my voice. And yeah, I think I'm definitely always my voice is always changing. Maybe that seems like obvious to me, I guess, but I write a lot. I kind of try to write a bit every day. So sometimes the change seems sort of imperceptible, but then when I go and compare it to older work, and then I definitely notice. I notice a
Yeah,
change.
and it takes years. It takes a long time, like you said.
Yeah.
You got to kind of like, and then that doing that kind of rehearsal in Nashville, sitting there and just getting through the songs and figuring out because you, as a singer too, you've got to figure out pathways to songs, like
Yeah.
how you want to navigate, how you want to strategize, and it's because it could be very technical, but you once you get there, it doesn't sound technical. It sounds effortless, right?
Yeah. Man, can I tell you about something I'm dealing with now on that note of like voice in songwriting?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Uh constant companion to me throughout all of my time writing has been like smoking, often weed, but just generally smoking. And then I've stopped, and that was like pretty terrifying and difficult at first to like try and
Yeah,
get myself.
it's a big life change, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I
and
get it. I get it.
but I think I've started to get it, like just continually pestering and just sitting down and trying to write. I think the thing that I come up against the most when I'm just like writing completely sober all the time is um I just do second guess myself more and judge my judgy voices come and nag at me more
Yeah,
quickly.
I get you.
Frustrating.
We all have those voices.
I know everyone has them, and I found that I would just get like maybe get a little bit stoned, and then like the voice just goes away for a couple
Right.
hours. But then I was just finding that it was affecting my life in ways I didn't like, so then I've had to like mostly give it up. And yeah, it's too
Yeah.
bad.
But you know what? Yeah, and again, like artists, I think that's a universal thing with artists because we all have that little voice, like, am I good enough? Do I deserve the success? It's like hard to get past that. And that's a life thing in general. Everybody has that like imposter syndrome thing that pops into your head. So
Yeah.
that's always a big challenge. One thing when in reading through your bio and everything, that spirituality becomes a big part of who you are and what you do. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and how that affects your music and how you approach music?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's like kind of big, but also kind of simple. Like when I'm writing is when I feel closest to whatever I call God and all my life I mean I grew up going to Sunday school and going to church and then I decided that wasn't for me, but I've kind of never stopped feeling like there was more to discover there, more to look into. I
Right.
got really into meditation at a young age, like in my teenage years, and really into reading Eastern philosophy. And I have attended Zen sanghas and just like I've just explored a
Yeah,
fair bit.
as you
Yeah,
should, as a human, right?
I think so. I mean, I
Yeah.
think I don't know. I've always been like that. And anyways, music was like figuring out how to write really freely and from what you might call like the heart without thinking too much. When I'm able to access that space, that is the best I feel, and that is when I feel like the most free, even though I'm just like sitting there writing. It's like I just feel really, really free, and I guess what I've always hoped is that if other people come to my music, they listen to it, maybe come to a show or something, like I would love for people to leave feeling like they want to go write or
Mhm.
explore that because I don't know, maybe that's me just evangelizing what worked for me, but it really does work for me and having like a regular writing practice. Yeah, it just makes me feel a little more at ease in the world.
Yeah, and it's cool that people put labels on things and whatever. But there's another force out there, hopefully that's there, and we can tap into it. A lot of songwriters talk about some of their biggest hits came to them in 5 or 10 minutes, where they just literally woke up and wrote it down, and they'll say like, I don't know where that came from. So maybe that's the thing. Maybe that there's somebody out there helping you, working with you, trying to encourage you. So we'd like to think that that's for all of us. As we have our,
It is. It
we
is
have
for all of us.
exactly. I
That's
think
what I
you just have
believe.
right. You just have to figure out how to engage with it and respect it. And I totally believe that too. I don't think I've done everything on my own.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think
Yeah.
consider like just having a conversation. You're not thinking about what you're going to say in advance usually. Sometimes yes, but most of the time
Right.
no. You're kind of just improvising. Where do those thoughts come from? Well, if you sit there and you meditate or if you really think about the process during writing it, they come from nowhere. And then they're there and then you just they either resonate with you or they don't. And so then you have an opportunity to choose what feels the most true or the most honest. And um, yeah, I think that's available for everyone in kind of every moment, all the time, no matter what you're doing. But it does help to pay attention, and that's why I found meditation really helpful because it's essentially just a practice of paying
Yeah, because
attention.
there's a lot of noise in the world that we all get affects. It affects us both positively and negatively. So you got to find your way to navigate all that, and it's not
Yeah.
easy. Life is just not so easy. What's some advice for younger artists that are trying to do what you did and what you've been so successful at? What are a couple of points that really pop out to you that they should know, that they should pay attention to?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it depends what you mean by success. I think that my biggest success, I feel like I have a ways to go as far as like building a career that's gonna really like sustain me. But I do feel artistically I've been successful in bringing a vision to life and writing music that feels really true to myself. And the biggest thing that has helped me with that is repetition and practice. The more you write, the better you get at it. The more you write, the more honest and the more clear your voice will become. And so if you're kind of struggling to, if you feel like all of your writing sucks or you don't feel like it's very good, that's fine. You just have to keep writing. That's my main advice. That's what I always tell everyone. And then my advice past that is like try to learn how to record yourself because it's so fun.
Yeah, and it's just nothing more valuable than hearing yourself back, and it could be valuable, painful,
Yes,
instructive. It's all
hugely.
it's all of that, but it's important, right? That's one of the things I do. I often video shows or record shows so I can
Yeah.
listen back and go, oh, that was cool. I didn't like that, but it's all good. That's all we're here to learn. I mean, that's kind of talk about spirituality. I think this is our school. This is our
Yeah,
class. This is our classroom.
totally.
So it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to screw up, but you learn so much from that, right? It's sometimes the failures you learn way more than the successes. Um, you have a huge tour coming up in the summertime. Talk about that because you're going to be all over Canada, pretty much all summer long. Talk
Mm.
about that. Are you touring with the band? Are you doing solo? How does that work?
Okay, I have a few tours. So first in March, I'm doing the Canada stuff, and I'm opening up for an artist, William Prince, who's an excellent songwriter and musician, and he's a pretty big deal in Canada. So we're playing big theaters, and I am bringing my whole band on that. And I
Awesome.
also produced William's album that he's touring, so that
Oh, okay.
feels quite special. And then in April and May, we're doing a bunch of opening wor- gigs for my friend Kat Clyde, who is featured on several songs on the record. And I also played on her record, which is the one that she's touring. So that feels perfectly aligned.
So it's like all a big family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then we're
awesome.
gonna have we have some West Coast, like up the coast of California and Oregon, Washington in late April, and those are headlining shows with the band. And then in the summer, we're doing mostly American festivals. We have, I think, two Canadian festivals, but mostly American stuff.
Ah, okay. Awesome.
Yeah, not many of them have been announced yet, but they will be. You know.
Yeah, and you've actually, I should say too, you've done a lot of big shows with major artists that we all know that are household names that are American artists as well, obviously as Canadian artists. So that's such an awesome thing, and it's nice to be able to tap into their audiences too, right? People that may not know you, but they get to discover you. Do you find that that's a really fun part of doing the opening act?
Yeah, so I feel like I've getting pretty good at doing the opening act because
Yeah,
I do
it's a very unique situation.
I do it quite a bit, and I've just our 45-minute set is like extremely good, and we basically just do every trick that we have.
Right.
Like we've got a pretty big selection of songs that we can pull from, so we just like yeah, we I feel like we've dialed it in to have all the moments that we like to have in our 90-minute show in a 45-minute show. It's just like condensed and it's fast, and I think
Yeah,
it's
it's
pretty
like it's sort of like
powerful.
the greatest hits in a way of your.
Yeah, exactly. Greatest hits of an artist you've never heard of, but
Well, that's not true, but yeah, I got
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I don't mind doing the opening gig. It's in a way, it's like pretty chill, you know. Like I'm not responsible for necessarily selling a bunch of tickets.
right.
We just
Yeah.
have to go and put on a really good show and add to the value of the night for the people coming to see it.
Yeah, and it's nice to have that connection where you actually produce the guy's album. So that's like it's probably really nice for the fans of the other guy to go, oh, now I know where the music's coming from and
Yeah,
So that's kind of a really neat, that's actually a really neat thing. C Tell people how they can find you and your music, your like website, social media, all that stuff.
Oh, just I think I'm on every platform.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say you got that dialed in because,
Yeah.
and the way it's the way it's actually set up on your website is perfect. But yeah, give everybody your websites and they can find
I
everything.
think it's boygolden.ca, so that's the Canadian one, .ca, I think. And then yeah, you can find me on Instagram or YouTube or
Okay.
TikTok or whatever.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining me. I love your music. I really connected with it. All the artists that you mentioned, I love. I used to record at Sound City in North
Oh,
Hollywood.
cool.
Tom Petty was there all the time. We used to see Tom. As JJ Kell, I've met. He came and saw our gigs up in Sausalito outside of San Francisco. So all those guys are like in my heart. And when I listen to your music, that's exactly who it reminded me of. The artists that we all love that are very woven into country in Canada, but also Americana country in the United States. So I really dig what you do. And yeah, if we when we get up to Winnipeg, maybe we can go and have a coffee together or something.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, let me know when you're coming.
Yeah, that's coming up. Cool. Thank you so much, Liam. I appreciate it. Everybody, please check out Best of Our Possible Lives. It's going to be out February 13th. And I should mention it's on Six Shooter Records, correct?
That's right.
Yeah, and you have the single out right now, Like a Child. You have the video and the music is out. So check you out on all the streaming platforms. Again, on your website, everything is there. So awesome. Have a great day. I really appreciate talking to you.
Thanks. It was a pleasure.